Hello, my name is Pastor Kris Kollar. I'm the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Malabar Farm and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas, Ohio. Greetings. We are reading through the Bible with commentary, and we are in the book of 1 Samuel. King Saul is still king, and David has been anointed and has been pursued by Saul. Last we knew he was not being pursued by Saul, but that'll happen again. So we're up to chapter 25. Now Samuel died, and of course this is the book of Samuel, and Samuel only appears the first part of the first book, really. He is the last of the judges and a prophet, and he has sons, but people are not real thrilled with his sons, and he anoints Saul, who becomes King Saul, and then he anoints David. Now Samuel died, and all Israel assembled and mourned for him. They buried him at his home in Ramah. Then David got up and went down to the wilderness of Paran. There was a man in Maon whose property was in Carmel. The man was very rich. He had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. He was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail. The woman was clever and beautiful, but the man was surly and mean. He was a Calebite. David heard in the wilderness that Nabal was shearing his sheep. So David sent 10 young men, and David said to the young men, "Go up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. Thus you shall salute him. Peace be to you, and peace be to your house, and peace be to all that you have. I hear that you have shearers. Now your shepherds have been with us, and we did them no harm. They missed nothing all the time that they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and they will tell you. Therefore let my young men find favor in your sight, for we have come on a feast day. Please give whatever you have at hand to your servants and to your son David." So, of course, there's a couple of different ways that you can read this. One is, hey, we've been out here in the wilderness, and while we've been out here, we haven't raided your property, we haven't taken your property. In fact, we've protected your property, and you haven't lost anything because we've been in the neighborhood. Or you could read it in a more aggressive, sinister way. Hey, we are in the neighborhood, and you haven't lost anything, and you don't want to be losing anything. So let us give you an offer you can't refuse. You need to support us out here in the wilderness. Either way, they are going and saying, hey, festival day, lots of food, lots of happiness. Please share with us. Verse 9. When David's young men came, they said all this to Nabal in the name of David. And then they waited. But Nabal answered David's servants, "Who's David? Who's the son of Jesse? There are many servants today who are breaking away from their masters. Shall I take my bread and my water and the meat that I have butchered for my shearers and give it to men who come from I do not know where?" So David's young men turned away and came back and told him all this. So basically Nabal says, yep, we're having a party, we're having a feast, but why would I give any of it to you guys? So David's young men turned away and came back and told him all this. David said to his men, "Every man strap on his sword." And every one of them strapped on his sword. David also strapped on his sword, and about 400 men went up after David, while 200 remained with the baggage. Verse 14. But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, "David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, and he shouted insults at them. Yet the men were very good to us, and we suffered no harm. We never missed anything when we were in the fields as long as we were with them. They were a wall to us both by night and by day, all the while we were with them keeping the sheep. Now therefore know this and consider what you should do, for evil has been decided against our master and against all his house. He is so ill-natured that no one can speak to him." So this clarifies that David has really been protecting Nabal's shepherds and sheep, and they've not lost anything or had any problems because David and his men were like a wall that protected them. And the response was to say, no, we don't know you, nothing for you. He's surly and he's mean. Verse 18, Then Abigail hurried and took 200 loaves, 2 skins of wine, 5 sheep ready dressed, 5 measures of parched grain, 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs. She loaded them on donkeys and said to her young men, "Go on ahead of me, I'm coming after you." But she did not tell her husband Nabal. As she rode on the donkey and came down under the cover of the mountain, David and his men came down toward her, and she met them. Now David had said, "Surely it was in vain that I protected all that this fellow has in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that belonged to him. But he has returned me evil for good. God do so to David and more, if by morning I leave so much as one male of all who belong to him." So we protected him. He answered us rudely. We're going to go kill all of the men in Nabal's household and servants, just everybody, his whole people. And we think of as just, especially in the West, we tend to think of a person and his wife or his husband like this nuclear family. The heads of these households, like Nabal, would have wife, servants, shearers, all kinds of people. It's like a whole little village of people and collected together with Nabal, or with David for that matter. Verse 23, when Abigail saw David, she hurried and alighted from the donkey. Oh, I haven't seen the word alighted in a while. Got down from the donkey and fell before David on her face, bowing to the ground. She fell at his feet and said, "Upon me alone, my lord, be the guilt. Please let your servant speak in your ears and hear the words of your servant. My lord, do not take seriously this ill-natured fellow, Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, your servant, did not see the young men of my lord, whom you sent." And we have a footnote that Nabal basically means fool. So his name is fool, and he's a fool, and I didn't see your people, or I would have taken care of them. I'm so sorry. Verse 26, now then, my lord, as the Lord lives, and as you yourself live, since the Lord has restrained you from blood guilt and from taking vengeance with your own hand, now let your enemies and those who seek to do evil to my lord be like Nabal. And now let this present that your servant has brought to my lord be given to the young men who follow my lord. Please forgive the trespass of your servant, for the Lord will certainly make my lord a sure house, because my lord is fighting the battles of the Lord, and evil shall not be found in you as long as you live. If anyone should rise up to pursue you and seek your life, the life of my lord shall be bound up in the bundle of the living, under the care of the Lord your God. But the lives of your enemies he shall sling out from the hollow of a sling. When the Lord, all capital letters, when the Lord has done to my Lord, small l, this is all the way through, she's referring to him like my Lord is Sir. When the Lord Almighty has done to you, sir, according to all the good that he has spoken concerning you, and has appointed you prince over Israel, my Lord shall have no cause of grief or pangs of conscience for having shed blood without cause, or for having saved himself. When the Lord has dealt well with my Lord, then remember your servant. So basically she's saying, you really don't want to go kill somebody and all these innocent people with him just because he's a fool. Why would you have that on your conscience that you killed somebody that you didn't need to kill? So he's foolish, and here's a gift, and the Lord will take care of him. Don't worry about that. Verse 32, David said to Abigail, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who sent you to meet me today. Blessed be your good sense, and blessed be you who have kept me today from blood guilt and from avenging myself by my own hand. For as surely as the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, who has restrained me from hurting you, unless you had hurried and come to meet me, truly by morning there would not have been left to Nabal so much as one male. Had you not come, every single male servant, shearer, person in the camp would be gone." Then David received from her hand what she had brought him. He said to her, "Go up to your house in peace. See, I have heeded your voice, and I have granted your petition." Verse 36, Abigail came to Nabal. He was holding a feast in his house like the feast of a king. Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunk. So she told him nothing at all until the morning light. In the morning, when the wine had gone out of Nabal, his wife told him these things, and his heart died within him. He became like a stone. About 10 days later, the Lord struck Nabal, and he died. So when she told him what happened and how he had narrowly avoided everybody getting killed, he had a stroke, it sounds like. His heart was stone within him, and he died 10 days later. Verse 39, when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, "Blessed be the Lord who has judged the case of Nabal's insult to me and has kept back his servant from evil. The Lord has returned the evil doing of Nabal upon his own head." Then David sent and wooed Abigail to make her his wife. When David's servants came to Abigail at Carmel, they said to her, "David has sent us to you to take you to him as his wife." She rose and bowed down with her face to the ground and said, "Your servant is a slave to wash the feet of the servants of my Lord." Abigail got up hurriedly and rode away on a donkey. Her 5 maids attended her. She went after the messengers of David and became his wife. David also married Ahinoam of Jezreel. Both of them became his wives. Saul had given his daughter Michal, David's wife, to Paltai, son of Laish, who was from Galim. So his wife Michal, who had basically warned him and helped him to escape from King Saul, is the daughter of King Saul, has now been given to another man because unfortunately she's a political daughter and she doesn't have a whole lot of say of where she ends up. Chapter 26. Then the Ziphites came to Saul at Gibeah, saying, "David is hiding in the hill of Helkilah, which is opposite Jeshimon." So Saul rose and went down to the wilderness of Ziph with 3,000 chosen men of Israel to seek David in the wilderness of Ziph. Saul encamped on the hill of Helkilah, which is opposite Jeshimon, beside the road, but David remained in the wilderness. When he learned that Saul had come after him into the wilderness, David sent out spies, and learned that Saul had indeed arrived. Then David set out and came to the place where Saul had encamped. And David saw the place where Saul lay, with Abner son of Ner, the commander of his army. Saul was lying within the encampment, while the army was encamped around him. Verse 6, Then David said to Ahimelech the Hittite, and to Joab's brother Abishai, son of Zeruiah, "Who will go down with me to the camp of Saul?" Abishai said, "I will go down with you." So David and Abishai went to the army by night. There Saul lay sleeping within the encampment, with his spear stuck in the ground at his head, and Abner and the army lay around him. Abishai said to David, "God has given your enemy into your hand today. Now therefore let me pin him to the ground with one stroke of the spear. I will not strike him twice." But David said to Abishai, "Do not destroy him, for who can raise his hand against the Lord's anointed and be guiltless?" David said, "As the Lord lives, the Lord will strike him down, or his day will come to die, or he will go down into battle and perish. The Lord forbid that I should raise my hand against the Lord's anointed. But now take the spear that is at his head and the water jar, and let us go." So David took the spear that was at Saul's head and the water jar, and they went away. No one saw it or knew it, or did anything, nor did anyone awake, for they were all asleep, because a deep sleep from the Lord had fallen upon them. Verse 13. Then David went over to the other side and stood on the top of a hill far away, with a great distance between them. David called to the army and to Abner son of Ner, saying, "Abner, will you not answer?" Then Abner replied, "Who are you that calls to the king?" David said to Abner, "Are you not a man? Who is like you in Israel? Why then have you not kept watch over your lord the king? For one of the people came in to destroy your lord the king. This thing that you have done is not good. As the Lord lives, you deserve to die, because you have not kept watch over your lord, the Lord's anointed. See now, where is the king's spear, or the water jar that was at his head?" Verse 17. Saul recognized David's voice and said, "Is that your voice, my son David?" David said, "It is my voice, O Lord my king." And he added, "Why does my Lord pursue his servant? For what have I done? What guilt is on my hands? Now therefore let my lord the king hear the words of his servant. If it is the Lord who has stirred you up against me, may he accept an offering. But if it is mortals, may they be cursed before the Lord, for they have driven me out today from my share in the heritage of the Lord, saying, Go serve other gods. Now therefore, do not let my blood fall to the ground away from the presence of the Lord, for the king of Israel has come out to seek a single flea, like one who hunts a partridge in the mountains. Verse 21, Then Saul said, I have done wrong. Come back, my son David, for I will never harm you again, because my life was precious in your sight today. I have been a fool, and have made a great mistake. David replied, Here is the spear, O king. Let one of the young men come over and get it. The Lord rewards everyone for his righteousness and his faithfulness. For the Lord gave you into my hand today, but I would not raise my hand against the Lord's anointed. As your life was precious today in my sight, so may my life be precious in the sight of the Lord, and may he rescue me from all tribulation. Then Saul said to David, Blessed be you, my son David. You will do many things, and will succeed in them. So David went his way, and Saul returned to his place. So once again, very similar language. Saul has come out chasing after David, and he's like, why are you chasing me? It's like chasing a flea. And he has come out after him, and David once again has spared his life. In the previous session, we heard that Saul went in to relieve himself, and while he was defecating probably, David cut a little piece of his cloak off. This time he was sleeping, and he stole the spear that was next to his head and his water bottle. So he said, no, really, I'm not trying to kill you. And so Saul says, you're going to succeed. And he also stops chasing after David and goes back home again. So David is getting more powerful. He's got about 600 people following him. He's been protecting the people out in the wilderness. Nabal did not appreciate that, but his wife Abigail did. So now Abigail is David's wife as well as Ahinoam, but his wife Michal has been given away to another man. So lots of politics, and David is still not the king, and Saul is still the king. And David is saying, David was on the verge of practicing vengeance. And later we will read the verse, vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I will repay. And it's a very hard idea because we want to get revenge. We want to do vengeance. And David was on the verge of revenging himself against these people who he said, hey, we protected you. Give us some of the party food. And he's like, no. And then David's like, fine, we're going to kill them all. It seems a bit harsh. It seems a bit much. If they could have turned down giving them food, and to kill them all seems like a bit much. But the main thing is that vengeance belongs to God, because in order for vengeance to be right, it has to be exactly equal. You did this much to hurt me. The punishment should be exactly the same amount. And we humans can never do exactly the same amount. You did this much to hurt me, in this case in David. Nabal did not share the party. David's like, fine, he's going to kill everybody. And then whoever got killed, they would have been coming after David. And pretty soon you've got this feud going that gets higher and higher. Well, you insulted me. Well, I punch you. You punch me. I kill your sister. You killed my sister. It always gets worse and worse, which is part of the idea why the law from the Leviticus and Deuteronomy is an amazing law, because it says an eye for an eye. There's not an eye, therefore I kill you. There's not a tooth, therefore I'm going to cut your arm off. It's supposed to be equal. And that was a new and radical concept, and really still is a concept, because everybody wants to do vengeance. And God says, no, I'm the one that does vengeance, and you need to let God do the work, which can be very hard, can't it? We want to get vengeance, and we want it now. We want to see these people get what they deserve, and we want to see them get it immediately. But God has his time, and God is the one that is at work, and to allow people to have or not have what they have, and hard to trust sometimes, but in the long run, God's God and we are not. So Now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you again next time. Go in peace.